I'm on a cultural pilgrimage spanning 3 countries. Though 2 of them are just specks on the map compared to their larger neighbor, they were the site of significant events that would forever change the course of history and civilization as we know it. Join me on a fascinating journey through the central Mediterranean as we explore the countries of Italy, Malta, and Vatican City. Italy, Malta, and Vatican City are just 3 of the countries that make up the vast Mediterranean, a fascinating region rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. I'll first visit the sites in and around Vatican City before exploring the areas around Popolo Square and Villa Borghese before finishing in the city's ancient quarter. From Rome, I'll fly to the tiny island nation of Malta, where I'll visit the historic towns of Valletta and Medina and the mysterious megaliths of Tarshan. How much do we offer?
145.
Yeah, I thought I gave you 350.
Look, 20, 30, 40, and 50. That's why you're coming here.
It's supposed to cost like 50 euros.
Yeah,
No, of course
and
it's
then on mnie oszukał. I'm here to check into the Vatican holiday. A Vatican holiday.
Yes, it's here.
Yeah, we're waiting for the owner.
Can we go inside? Wait here.
Sure, you can.
Okay, wait,
Yes, grazie. Yeah, I thought it would take like 1.5 hours to get through customs.
I understand
Because sometimes they check in luggage.
when I look 3 o'clock for me it's 2:30, but
okay.
no 1:30.
Yeah.
You have to pay only city tax per 10 nights. In Rome we have a fantastic pasta. It's very important to walk a lot. Only one. Brian, you put 1 coin in the fountain and you surely come back again. In this way, Rome earns 4,000 euros every day.
Oh wow, that's absolutely incredible. I've only just arrived in Rome a few hours ago, and not far from our hotel is Vatican City, world's smallest country. So that's around 110 acres. Behind me is the world famous St. Peter's Basilica, the largest church on earth, the most holiest place in the Roman Catholic Church. This is St. Peter's Square, though, although you can see it doesn't exactly look like a square, and that's because it actually used to be an old Roman racetrack where they would have chariot races. And if you look over here, that obelisk was actually brought here from Egypt. The Vatican's origins date back to the martyrdom of St. Peter in the 1st century AD, and it thrived as a papal state for nearly 12 centuries, until 1861. Behind you can see the remains of the Vatican walls constructed during the medieval times. They surround the entire nation, and it is behind these walls where, after the collapse of the papal states following the formation of Italy, the Pope held out for nearly 60 years until Benito Mussolini and King Victor Emmanuel III granted Vatican City status as a sovereign state in 1929. Today is the spiritual heart of the Roman Catholic faith and is the world's only absolute theocratic elective monarchy, and the only country outside the Muslim world which has banned all other faiths. And as it has no hospitals, it's also the only nation on earth whose citizens are all foreign-born. And of the country's 800 inhabitants, only about half of them actually hold Vatican passports and reside in the country full-time, most of whom are clergy members and Swiss guards, with an additional 2,000 Romans commuting daily for work. Surprisingly, Italian and not Latin is the official language. There are no restaurants, hotels, or traffic lights. Smoking is illegal. But there are no customs or passport control, and it's the only country in the world that can only be entered by foot. And also the only nation where you can enter through a museum. Usually there is a security checkpoint you have to go through, but we got lucky and were able to just enter through the columns with no hassle. Once one of the tallest buildings in the old world, the present-day Basilica of St. Peter was built in the 16th century on the site where St. Peter, the world's first and possibly longest reigning pope, was crucified by Emperor Nero sometime between 64 and 68 AD. As a final wish, he allegedly requested to be crucified upside down, as he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus, though to this day it is still unknown as to exactly how or why he was murdered. He was the only pope to be named Peter, and some Armageddonists have suggested that another Pope Peter will signal the collapse of the Catholic Church. For nearly 250 years, Christians paid their respects to St. Peter in secret until 313 AD, when Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity and had a basilica built atop his tomb, forever changing the course of history. At 448 feet, its dome is the tallest in the world. It was redesigned in 1547 by Michelangelo, who modeled it after the famous dome in Florence. Sadly, Michelangelo passed away before he could see the completion of what has been called the greatest dome in Christendom. A famous St. Peter's Square, designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini in the mid-1600s. Though its origins date back to the martyrdom of St. Peter in Emperor Nero's circus, which stood where St. Peter's Basilica sits today. And I'm back in Italy. That was probably my shortest visit to any country. Fortunately, access to most areas of the country is challenging, but as a geographer, I'm grateful to at least be able to set foot in the smallest and strangest nation on earth. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that this is the sacred heart of the Roman Catholic Church. You'll also see people from other religions coming to visit as well. I've seen some Sikhs and Muslims over here, so I guess it's just one of those important, significant sites that everyone should visit once in their life.
Ground floor and downstairs. We live in English? Yes. English.
Few nations have contributed more to the planet than the Italians, and no Italian has contributed more than the famous Tuscan-born Leonardo da Vinci. So I've come to the DaVinci Museum to learn a bit more about some of his most famous paintings and inventions.
Mamma mia, viva Marina, cara la mia mamma mi piace Giovan, cara la mia figlia aspetta corona, noi bre ancora
per farti rimbana, ma arriveremo in mano.
Fish is my first meal in Italy. A small limone or lemon gelato, only €3. Very refreshing in this hot weather. I wasn't expecting it to be so hot.
Oh yes.
This building behind me is the Castel Sant'Angelo, but it wasn't always a castello. It was actually originally constructed in the year 134 AD as a tomb for Emperor Hadrian and his family. And of course, the emperor had to have the largest and tallest building in all of Rome. Several of his successors were also laid to rest here. Now, the reason that Emperor Hadrian constructed his tomb here is because it was actually forbidden for the Romans to bury their dead within the city walls for sanitation reasons. In the 5th century AD, it was converted to a military fortress before also serving as a prison and papal fortress and papal residence. And this area right here would have actually once contained the moat. In the 13th century, Pope Alexander III commissioned the Paseo de Borgo, which is basically a secret passage linking the castle to St. Peter's Basilica, and that was in the event that they needed to rescue the Pope and get him out of there as quickly as possible. And it is the feature that would prove instrumental in thwarting the attempted kidnapping of Pope Clement VIII during the sacking of Rome in 1527. From the street, people would think it's just a wall, and they actually have like small slits, so the Swiss guards, which are the people tasked with protecting the Pope that we saw at the Vatican, could aim their rifles out the hole and shoot any potential enemies, while others would escort the Pope to safety. The famous Tiber River. If you thought visiting the world's smallest country was something spectacular during the day, you should really see it at night. So I guess this is what nightlife looks like in Vatican City. No fancy bars or nightclubs, just people enjoying themselves.
Un collegato piacevole.
I know, it's supposed to be illegal to smoke here. I thought smoking was illegal in the Vatican, but apparently not. Looks like the Swiss Guard is starting to kick people out. I think this might be the only country on earth that has closing hours. So we're gonna explore our street and try to find something to eat. What is this bufala Mozzarella.
Starters, we have all fish. We are a fish restaurant.
Yeah, I thought it was a fillet of white fish. Yeah.
Yeah, and a slice of white fish. We have a pecorino for the white wine. Pecorino Indio, it's in a blend with Chardonnay, Pinot Bianco, and Sauvignon. Ribolla Gialla, selection of the day. It's a Sicily wine. It's a biologic wine. It's a 70% Grillo and 30% Viognier. It's a mineral wine. It's a bit salty, fresh, like this.
I'll take the filetto di pesce bianco.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not quite what I was expecting, but I'll try it. Love you, Bill. Oh, what's that? Oh. So my first Italian dinner was pretty tasty, but the portion could have been a little larger. This is gonna be a long night.